Felix Amitete. My mates call me Sefat. I'm in a family of 4 siblings. My parents are all alive. Thanks be to God. They always say I don't visit them often. I'm planning to visit them very soon. We have a very nice family. They are all somewhere in the Eastern region now. I'm here in Accra with my younger brother. He's also in Accra here. The others are working at other places. Basically, that's about me. I know you'll be asking more about my profession. I'm a teacher. I love to teach. Let me say I picked the inspiration from my father. He was a civil servant for some time, and then he was teaching. Someone would say, funny enough, he was teaching me in class 5 for some time. So I've been teaching roughly for 23 years now. I've been teaching. I got into teaching, as I said, possibly because my father was into teaching for some time, and he himself loved teaching. I got in and I got stuck, let me say it that way, because I developed a love for teaching along the line. I tell my friends, if you want a work to do and you want to make an impact on human lives, then the best place to be is to work for teaching. Yeah, so basically teaching, let me say, I'm driven by passion and a desire to help humanity. My teaching style, teaching, so that's as people say, the more you do it, the more you learn on the job and the more proficient you become. My style, I would say, let the children identify you as a teacher and as a father. Identify them as students and as your children. That way you'll be able to meet their expectations. The children come to school with expectations, and apart from giving them academic work, syllabus oriented content, let them feel the school is their second home. So I get to the class, and until they told me, I didn't even know, but it was happening. I asked them whether they've eaten, what is happening at home. So they feel at home to share their personal issues with me. And that did the trick all the while. They identify me as a father, identify them as my children, and I think that did the trick. So you get to the class and they are ready to listen to anything you have to say. That has surprised me. You do it with the whole of yourself. Again, people tell me I like to put myself in everything I do. I want to put the whole of myself into it. I have done that all the while, and wherever I appear, I'm giving some leadership role to take up. And when I do it, people give me a thumbs up. And it happened in education as well. I've been assistant headmaster in very, very renowned schools twice. Then I had to act as a headmaster at a point in time before here. I came here as an English teacher. I was teaching along the line. Then the position became vacant, and I was selected to be in the position, and I don't think I have done badly at all. So for now, I'm the headmaster of Sambel Academy, and from the commentary I get from parents, the students I teach, the past students, and even the present students, I think I'm doing my best. That's my weakness. It will be a bit difficult for me to say. The reason being that at any point in time, whatever situation I'm faced with, I want to weigh where my strengths are and where my weaknesses are. So it depends on the situation I'm faced with. But generally, I should say I want to escape that, to say that I was a bit more emotional about people's problems. So that got me to the extent that sometimes, let me be very sincere here. Teaching and the financial aspect of teaching, salary for teachers is not that huge, but it gets to a time when I spend all my salary on students that I think I tried correcting. It was difficult for me, so let me consider that as one of my weaknesses. I should think I believe in peace. Unfortunately, in a part of Africa, we misinterpret peace to mean quietness, silence, but I think I have that strong edge to stand for peace at any point in time, and I have linked that to speaking the truth, trying to be truthful. That has been my strength, because when you say the truth, you don't have to go back trying to recollect what you said at a point in time. So I think I like being truthful because I want to project peace. That possibly might be my strength. In the first place, you have to realize that the children are all coming from different homes. If you have a class of about 30 students, and once you are aware that these children are coming from different backgrounds, you should be able to manage the class. The situation where you go in and you want everyone to behave in a particular way, you'll be failing in trying to manage the class, because the way someone even understands the way you appear, your dressing alone is misunderstood by some children in the class. So you need to know the children, you need to know where they're coming from, and cater for their individual differences. You look at the class that way, it will be very easy for you to manage them. You wouldn't be tagging them wrongly. We generally say the noisy ones are stubborn. Sometimes they are not. There is an instance where one of the children is always punished for being noisy. We probed a little and we found out that in the house or at home, he has no one to talk to. So he comes to school and wants to talk to everyone. So you understand, as a child, it will be very easy for you to manage him or her, and collectively it becomes easier. Yes, it happens. I said earlier that we learn on the job. I was teaching was a ratio and proportion mathematics, and I went to the class as usual, very energetic, and you get a response from the children. When you're teaching and the children understand, you get a response. And my lessons have always been characterized by fun, and the response is always positive. In this situation, we're doing this if more, less divide, if less, more divide thing, and the whole class was silent. I got to a point, the very smart ones in the class seemed to be very confused. I don't forget that day. I had to later call a few ones, try giving them a few problems to solve. Then I got to know, in fact, they were confused throughout the lesson. Fortunately for me, the second lesson went very, very well, because I was able to find the challenge of the class. God forgive me if I'm offending you. If I have my own way, I'll ask God to give me more hours in the day. It appears time is not enough for me at the point. But I get up very early in the morning and I put a few things on paper. What I expected the day to be like. That has helped me. I learned that from one elderly person who took me as a child. That helped me a lot. So you put a few things on paper very early in the morning, and that serves as a guide for you. On many occasions, you wouldn't have it going straight as you put on paper. But even if you should deviate from that, it keeps you guided, so you don't deviate so much. So time management, I'm always on time. In most cases, I'm always on time. Let me say, it has become part of me. It's something that has become part of me. But there were instances I remember very well. I don't like talking about them because some people wouldn't like you to talk about you helping them. So let me try as much as possible to avoid mentioning names. But there were instances where some students actually had challenges. One coming from a single parent kind of background. Financially, the family was very weak, by no fault of theirs, and I had to pay fees throughout the, I think that started from second year JHS2, throughout the course. No one knew of it apart from myself and the students. There were other instances where I had to constantly provide food, share my food, literally share my food with some students. You realize if you leave this child, you can't tell what will happen tomorrow, so you have to, for lack of a better word, let me say sacrifice and give your all to such children. And it pays. Not necessarily financially, but you miss some, and the way they introduce you to other people alone tells you your work was when you are preparing from home or you're preparing your lesson, you should put yourself in the place of the children or the students. That makes it easier for you. I always tell people I don't go to the classroom with one teaching method. I go in with my teaching method on record, but you get to the class and it's the state of the class that tells you which approach will be good for whatever lesson you have to deliver. In such a situation, just flow with them. Sometimes you sit on the floor, people meet you and they think you are going overboard. But if that is what will make the children understand your lesson, just do it. You could dance with them, you could go sitting in their positions, anything that will make them feel at home and grasp whatever lesson you have to deliver them or whatever content you have to give them. We can put the blame at the doorsteps of one agency or one personality. Our system is made such that the results basically at BEC or WASI determines the strength of the student. Unfortunately, this is the irony. When the student performs well or the result is good, the commendation goes to the student. If it goes the other way, it's not very good, the teacher is blamed for it. The situation is such that the entire system is structured. I wouldn't put the blame on the doorsteps of one agency or one individual, but I would say it's a complex situation where the system has been structured to favor a category or group of students, those who can memorize something and go and produce it on paper. They are favored. So I will begin, if I'm pushed to the wall, I'll begin by putting the blame at the doorsteps of the policy makers. I think a lot of consultation should be done when the curriculum is being changed. I don't think that is being done. If that is done, then we'll be catering for people who have what we call talents, raw talents, which have nothing to do so much with the book issues, if I should say the way we understand. So we are all part of the problem. The teachers have a part to play. The students, I wouldn't give so much of the blame to the students because they come very young ready to learn. About 98% of students we have in our classes are ready to learn. The home might not be favorable, so the parents might also have to take some of the blame. But I'll put junk of the blame on the policy person who easily takes advice. I've been saying that I don't like criticism, but I like advice. I've been asked on one occasion, what is the difference? I said advice is where you come to me and point my shortcomings to me, and I'm very happy at that. I consider the criticism as saying it in my absence, then I get to hear of it. So there were instances where a colleague approached me on a way I was handling an issue. I welcomed it, and that even bonded us more. So I easily adapt to change, and when people approach me to correct me on issues, I welcome it a lot. Either way, as much as I would not like people to discuss my shortcomings in my absence, the other way I would like them to approach me, I would also like to approach people to let them know what I think about the situation. There was this situation where a parent would want the ward to be promoted to the next class, and whatever we said didn't go down with him. So even he was ready to do anything. He was virtually insulting us, more or less telling us we didn't know what we were doing. So I had to let her go. Then I placed a call through. She picked, luckily for me. Then we talked about other things. I wanted to talk about the issue, what happened in the course of the day, but we ended up talking about other things. Then towards the end, I invited her to my office, and I gave her water. We had a long chat. Then in the end, I pushed in the issue, the subject matter, and explained why there was the need for the boy to go through the system and not to jump class. And we became friends since. I think I remember that. I came to stay in Kwabenya here for some time. At the time I was teaching the Bible college and doing other things. And then the proprietor of Sambel Academy called me once. He knew that I was a trained teacher. He called me once and told me there was a need, or they needed my assistance, and that the English teacher had left suddenly for something equally important. So I started coming in to help candidates who were preparing for their BECA then. So I started coming to Sambel 2010 thereabout. But then my work here as a teacher, if I had to identify as a teacher here, it began in 2011-2012 academic year, when I took up the mantle as an English teacher for the JHS. Then at the point in time I had to start from basic 6, so I continued with that. And then science was added, so I was teaching science and English language, JHS, and then the English language from basic 6. The challenges I met in Sambel, the normal ones in any human institution. We had to make parents understand education very well. Kwabenya is an old community, but not as developed as a place like the East Legons where I was teaching and I had some experience. So the vast difference, if I should use the word vast, because it will surprise you. A few things happen at America House in the East Legon. You come here in Kwabenya, it appears very, very different. I see the distance is so much. So we had to make parents understand the way education was going, the need for a commitment or better commitment into education. So I think that was a challenge, and I got involved right from the start. I think that has been something I will give myself a plus for, because there were instances we had to meet parents and talk to them one-on-one. No one assigned us, but the parents got closer and we need to talk to them on that, and it helped. One gets the enrollment getting up, because those parents, having understood education, also recommended what we're doing here to other parents, and they came in. That was one. And then we also had issues with the area road and other things, with the help of the carrying assembly members we had around, and then we had the former DC around to appeal to them. They were very accommodating. Those issues were fixed, but internally we had a challenge of a high turnover. What I mean is teachers were not very we're leaving very often here to school. They come, they leave to school. I don't know what has happened over the years, but now teachers stay here for some time. So I'm assuming that maybe conditions are better here, and that is why the turnover is better now. Then we also had to make our children understand that education is your personality, builds your personality, and not just what you produce on paper. I think I got involved in that as well. We had to make education practical to the children and disabuse their minds on getting 06 in the BEC, making you or putting you on top of the world. We have to disabuse their minds on that. Some people did not understand us from the beginning, but along the lines, I think people joined our track, so that those who were in the class who were not academically good will also see their strength in other areas and see the reason for being in school, so they don't get discouraged by the fact that they are not producing the academic results that everyone is expecting. So that has been generally the face of Sambel Academy, and I think I have contributed a lot in putting those things in shape. Personally, I should think that I have tried uniting the staff. I like, people say that when they come here, they don't know who the headmaster is, they don't know who a teacher is. Again, when they say it before I get to know what we have done, I think I have tried as much as possible to relate to the teachers or the staff very, very well, such that anyone could walk into my office and ask anything. We discuss personal issues, we discuss official issues, administrative issues. I don't think any of my staff has an issue with me. So that unity, which even the parents attest to, I think that has also been something. If you ask me to commend myself, I'll give myself a plus 4. So generally, we came to push Sambel forward, and I think we've done so well. You go to, I've been telling the parents that you go to Ghana Education Service now and you mention Sambel Academy, and you are not asked a second question, because they know us very, very well. We've related to GES very, very, very well, and they know us there. So that rapport we develop with GES, the way we relate to our parents, the fact that we take our children or our students as our own children, that has been the strength of Sambel Academy, and I'm happy to be a part of it. I want to, well, let me say, I would like to be grateful to God first. I always say wherever I am, it is for a purpose. I must identify that purpose and live up to it. So I will thank God for the opportunity to have served Sambel Academy. I would like to thank our principal too. He just called me and said, Felix, we need you here. I came in as a part-time teacher, The relationship was very good, and he gave me the support. So I would like to thank him also for giving me the opportunity to have worked here in Sambel Academy. The teachers, I wouldn't know how to describe them, especially the set we have now. Fantastic, very, very good stuff. I like everyone, and I would like to thank all of them also for whatever they have contributed to make my work a success. I thank everyone here, the assemblyman, the chief, everyone is a friend, and I think because it's the last group. I'm living here in December, so this is the last BEC I'm superintending over. I would like them to perform extremely well, so that when I'm referring back to Sambel Academy, I can mention that the year I was living, the result was very, very good, because that will be the point of reference for me. So I wish them well. I've been talking to them, we've been praying together, they prepared. So guys, all the best. I know you do it.